Guys, welcome and welcome back to the channel. It's Cierra, and on this channel I love to talk about reading and writing as a self-published author, but also a writer on Substack. So this video is going to be the first video in this little mini series of create your own book with me. So this one is creating a setting. So what constitutes as a setting? So a setting is a location or locations where the story takes place. We all know that. And for me, the thing I like to think about the most when it comes to settings, it's the most impactful setting. So not just anywhere all the time, especially when it comes to writing. You don't want to have too many filler scenes. Like having a few filler scenes is fine with different settings, but I feel like the most impactful scenes are very, very important, because then you know that these are places that they continuously go to when it comes to writing your story, and how these places impact a character and their journey along the way. So yeah, we're going to dive into that, spend a few minutes, let you guys figure out your locations. We'll refine the list a little bit. So that's exactly what this video is going to be. So for me, for my first book, for impactful scenes, for Ghost of You, I would say are the college campus, being in the dorm. There are a few events that are very crucial to both characters and how they are reflecting on their feelings for certain characters. Especially at the beginning, there is a house party, and that's where Leo starts to really get back into his feelings for Dahlia after seeing her in a gorgeous dress. He's just like, damn, she always looks good. Like, you're like, oh my God. This man is still obsessed with her. So that's kind of like the catalyst for that in that scene. Leo's home and Dahlia's home as well, because both homes are very crucial as to how they are character-wise and what they have been through. So like with Leo's family and his struggles, and then Dahlia's home and a lot of the ghosts that reside in that home too as well. Okay, so how do you figure out your locations? So what I like to think about is, where do you feel your story needs to be told? Like, what elements of your story, what themes, what parts of your story need to be told, and where do they need to be told? Do they need to be shared in the comfort of somebody's home? Do they need to be shared on a stage? Like, is there some type of like, what's the word? A moment of acknowledgement between characters, like someone on the stage being like, I apologize for blah, 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 how I treated you. Like, if there's any scene like that, then a stage or like an auditorium would be like a scene like that. So think of places where you feel your story needs to be told. And also think about the emotions that you want your characters to feel. So is this a moment where they feel ashamed? Do they feel embarrassed being called out like this by a certain character? Do they have any fear being in this location? Do they have any history tied to the location too as well? If there's any history tied to the location, it also ties into how they feel about that location. Does it make them nervous? Do they start to have anxiety? Like, does it trigger something in them by going to that location? So those are all the different things I would say to think about with picking out your location. So we're gonna spend 15 minutes for you to just write down all locations that you have in mind for your story, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna refine it. I'm going to be thinking of locations for my second book. Like I said, I have been writing this book. I finished the first draft, but it definitely needs to be refined. It needs to be brought together a little bit more, because right now it's very like plot based. I want to make it more refined to the characters and navigating their situations a little bit more. So I will be focusing this on Kiss Me at Midnight, which is book 2 in my series. So let's go ahead and spend the first 15 minutes. See you there. Okay, you guys, hopefully you came up with a few ideas for your location. If you want to, you can go ahead and share them in the comments below. I'm going to share what I found so far for settings from off of my memory of what I had in the story, what ones I went to like Nix and stuff like that, but that's for the next part. I wrote down A&A Records, which is the record label that Addison and Axel own. Dahlia's apartment, Addie's apartment. His nickname is Addie. His name is Addison. The main event, the main catalyst for the whole thing, the design room, because they have like an in-house designer. That's what I was trying to go with. I was trying to do my research on that too. I'm like, do they have in-house designers? And from my research, some places do, like some record labels actually do. Probably not in the building, but I think that's a different twist to it because it doesn't have to be like completely factual. It's a fictional story. Cafe, restaurant, club, a few events, movie theater, the store, and the city landscape, them walking outside. So that's what I have so far. Let's go ahead and spend the next 15 minutes trying to narrow that down. I would say maybe 3 to 5 main locations for your story. So that way it really just showcases where your story is going and what spaces are impactful. So just remember those questions. Remember, where do you feel your story needs to be told, and think about the emotions that you want your characters to feel. Also history too. Is there any history with their with the location where they're at? So let's go ahead. So I have my list. You can still have a few like locations for like filler scenes. That's completely fine. Not everything has to move the story completely, but just like when it comes to showcasing the main ones that really impact your story and how it moves, those are the ones that you're going to be pretty much writing about majority of the time. So I have A&A Records, not Dahlia's apartment. Sorry, Zofria's apartment. I was I was thinking about Dahlia from the first book. Zofria is the main character in here. Nickname is Zoe. The main event, the design room, the cafe, but I also added like the city landscape because they do spend a lot of time like walking outside because it is called Kiss Me at Midnight. They have a lot of huge moments, emotional reflections and revelations around midnight. So that's also the time when they just become more vulnerable with each other. Yeah, so sometimes it's at night in the city, sometimes it's at A&A Records around midnight type of thing. That's really like the whole focal point of that. But also it is the catalyst for them even getting close in the first place, which is where they had their first instance at Addison's apartment. It's very minimal, but it's an impactful start. I just don't have that many scenes in Addison's apartment. I just don't really. I think I wrote a little bit, but I think I'm gonna nix that. And mainly be it in hers, in Sophia's apartment. But yeah, those are the ones that I came up with that are a little bit more refined. So moving forward, when I revamp the story, those are the main focal areas I'm going to do, main focal locations. I'll probably do like a few club or yeah, a few club scenes. Like I do have one or two for Ghost of You, which is literally part of how the characters are doing their reflections on their emotions for certain characters, which is very similar to Addison and Zofria and how they actually are reflecting on certain situations when it comes to their feelings towards each other. So hopefully this video helped, especially when it comes to like writing a story and figuring out locations in a different way, versus just like where a story takes place and you just pick a school, like, you know, gives it a little bit more fleshed out details. Hopefully it helps. If you like this video, be sure to like it, comment below what locations are you specifically going to be using for your story. And until next time, stay magical.